And good evening. This is Bob, W6CJX, and I'll be your net control operator for tonight's Papa Great Outdoor Net. This net meets every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific. This is a directed net, so please go through net control at all times, and your cooperation is always greatly appreciated. Before we get started, let's pause for any emergency or priority traffic. Okay, hearing none. Well, nothing but crickets. We'll continue with the net. Stations with emergency or priority traffic can come into the net at any time. With a double break, and net control will respond appropriately. The PAPA system is an open membership supported system in the Southern California area, with coverage from the Mexican border to Paso Robles and from the Channel Islands to Las Vegas, Nevada. If you're a visitor tonight to the PAPA system, I invite you to go to papasys.com. That's PAPASYS.com and register as a guest. With your guest registration, you'll have 45 days of free access to the PAPA system. And at the end of your guest access period, we'd love for you to become a subscribed member and continue to use the system and be part of the PAPA system family. However, all amateurs are welcome to participate in the daily, weekly, and monthly PAPA system nets regardless of their membership status. Again, this is the PAPA system Great Outdoor Net. Alrighty, hope everyone's having a good weekend. A little cooler, I think. I think we were kind of the same, but maybe just a tad. So hopefully next week sounds like we're maybe heading into fall. I don't know. I think this was our first week, the end of the first week of football. I think there's still a game going on tonight. So that tells me fall's not too far around the corner with that. Yep, so with that, let's see. We've got some announcements to do. And once we do that, we'll get started with the net, so stand by.
Here are the PAPA System weekly announcements for the week of September 8. The PAPA Inland Empire Breakfast. PAPA will be meeting in person on Saturday, September 13th, at 9 a.m. at the Mill Creek Cattle Company. Everyone is welcome. We will be offering ham license testing at 8 a.m. for technician, general and amateur extra class licenses. Please RSVP for the breakfast at 9 a.m. and for ham license testing at 8 a.m. We will have a special presentation from Evo KO6BKX from the recent Papa Ham Camp 2025 expedition. The Papa West Side Luncheon. Papa will also be meeting in person on Saturday, September 13th at 11 a.m. at the Sizzler Culver City. We will be offering ham license testing at 10 a.m. for technician, general and amateur extra class licenses. Please RSVP for the luncheon at 11 a.m. and for ham license testing at 10 a.m. We will also have a special presentation from Bob W6CJX from the recent Papa Ham Camp 2025 expedition. Papa Quick Start Program. In conjunction with our test sessions, we have a Quick Start program for newly licensed technicians. Our Quick Start program is designed to get you on the air as soon as your new FCC license arrives and help you understand how to use a radio on the PAPA system to communicate with fellow hams. If you sign up for the program, the PAPA system will provide you with a pre-programmed UHF handheld radio at no cost to you and assist you with technical and operational issues as you learn more about ham radio. More details are available at the test session and on the PAPA website. The USS Midway Museum radio team, NI6IW, will be on the air on Saturday, September 13th from 0900 to 1600 Pacific Standard Time. They will be commemorating the USS Midway commissioning on the 10th of September, 1945. Check the PAPA website for modes and frequencies. The PAPA system is happy to announce that we have now added 2 more ways to easily pay for your PAPA membership, with Venmo and Zelle. All this information, and a whole lot more, can be found on the PAPA website at papasys.com.
All right, well, thank you for those announcements. So, yeah, we've got a couple breakfast and a luncheon coming up next week, and we're going to do a little presentation, for those that maybe can't go there and see it. I'm going to do, at least on my side, I think Evo's going to have some type of, or you can use mine. We can share our PowerPoint. So proud of myself. It's been so many years since I've done a PowerPoint, but it looks like it came out pretty good. Nothing special, nothing fancy, but we'll have fun. And as you notice, it says on the announcement, expedition. Well, I kept thinking, well, that is a little, heavy for just going out to an island and go camping, right? But really, it just means it's an organized journey, typically undertaken by a group of people for a specific purpose. And the purpose can be varied from often involves exploration, science research. That's what we did, or military objectives. So the word can also refer to the group of people and their equipment that make the journey. So I guess it's, we can technically call it an expedition. I like to do that. Anyway, the Papa System Great Outdoor Net is a recreational topic style net and will focus on anything that involves spending time in the great outdoors and how amateur radio can make that even better. For many of us, outdoor activities was the motivation behind getting our radio license. So tonight, before we get completely started here, we do want to check in with Steve, our reporter from the field. So I think he's probably wrapped up the DRT portion of the In Canyon repeater by now. So let's call on Steve. And I believe he's pretty much fresh off the trail. I talked to him this afternoon before he even got home, and he was had a great hike in and hike out. So let Steve tell you a little bit about that. So let me call on Steve, KI6LOV.
Well, good evening, Bob, and everyone out here on the Sunday night Outdoor Net. This is Steve, KI6LOV, with a report from the field. Indeed, I was into my cabin on Saturday, and I'll try to keep this brief, but I think I have an important concept to pass along. The Upper Winter Creek Trail in Big Santa Anita Canyon is the main trail that I use to hike out to my cabin. And it's about a 3-mile hike. It has a lot of terrain. And if you look it up online, they describe it as moderate to challenging. But what they don't explain is there are many very narrow sections with extreme exposure, meaning a long drop to the bottom if you happen to trip or slip and fall off. And there are several sections that are dangerous enough that even though I've hiked them many times, hundreds of times, I focus and I pay attention and I just make it across and then I'm good. So when I was hiking in Saturday, I came to one of those sections and it was on my direction was the downhill. So at the bottom of this section, coming up towards me, were two people pushing mountain bikes along a very sketchy and narrow section, once again, where you do not want to fall off. When they got I waited for them because there's nowhere to pass. And as they approached, I could see that in the lead was a young man in his 20s, and behind him a ways was a young woman, a girlfriend or a wife, I didn't know. So he walks up to me and looks at me and says, "I'm sorry to have to make you wait." And I've encountered hundreds of people on the trail. And I looked him up and down, and he was a rookie all the way. He didn't appear to be an outdoor person, and he did not appear to be a mountain bike rider. And he was standing there with a brand new, expensive mountain bike. And then I look, and the woman is approaching, and I look at him and I ask, "Have you ever been on this trail before?" And he looks at me and says, "No, this is our first time." And she speaks up and she says, "And we've had to push our bikes 90% of the time up to now. And keep in mind, they're 3 miles into a 6-mile loop." Now, in about 15 seconds, you can imagine what's going through my mind, because these people do not really belong out there with mountain bikes. it's too dangerous. The ramifications are too great. So, what can I do? I told him, well, there are other sections like this on the other side of the mountain, and you need to pay attention and be very careful and carry on. And I waved them on and said, be safe. And I took off on down the trail, thinking to myself, I certainly hope they make it down. Now, of course, I did not hear about any rescues, or there were no cars left over with bike racks on them on Saturday night, so I suspect they actually made it down. Now, there's a concept that I've always followed, and I'm not certain where I heard this the first time, but it's know before you go, meaning do a little research. There he was out on the trail with a brand new mountain bike. He had no idea what the trail was like. He probably just looked it up online and said, let's go for a mountain bike ride. But preparation is the key. And I know I'm speaking to the choir here for the most part, but if there's one newbie out there who is thinking about going out and hiking somewhere or riding a mountain bike, make sure you do your research and be ready to go. Bring adequate water and everything you need for a day or an overnight if there's some kind of calamity. So with that, I hope everyone has a great rest of the round table tonight. And Bob, it's always a pleasure to be here. And I am looking forward to seeing people this coming weekend at the West Side Luncheon in Culver City. So I'll say 7-3 for now. This is KI6LOV. Back to you, Bob.
Well, thank you, Steve. As always, it's some great advice. And like we were talking earlier, if just one person might kind of go, okay, I'm going riding up in Big Bear. I better check out some of these trails online. There's kind of maps for everything, and just get an idea. It can't hurt. And then I know there's those thrill seekers out there that just like to be surprised, right? So those you can't do anything about. They're already adrenaline junkies and just love to have surprises around each corner, I suppose. But very good, Steve. Yep. And this is not just stories from the past. These are stories from today. Or yesterday, whenever it was, but I think it was today. All right. Thanks, Steve. KI6LOV. And this is W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. So I was thinking on this particular night, I did some reviewing. Last year I did camping stoves out on the island. I did this year mostly kind of battery-powered chargers and these accessories that come with them that turn into lights, and they're pretty darn cool. So at some point, I could do it now actually, and then we'll get started. And you guys could share with us everything that maybe you bought this year it could be for hiking, it could be for camping, it can be for boating, it can be for bicycles, motorcycles, something you've added or tried out new. So it's kind of like new gear for the new year. But we've already kind of gone through summer, so not the new year, but just for this year, I guess I should say. So new gear for this year, and that you've used, and they're pretty excited about it. And you didn't have to return it to Amazon. All right, so what I did test it out was a company called Nest Out, Nestout, Nest Out. And they have power banks, and they're really rugged, and they're water resistant. In fact, they're IP67 and shockproof and water resistant. So they actually show them being thrown in a creek, and they have a waterproof cap that goes on them. But they're pretty nice, and they do have like an automatic turn on and a battery level. And then you can attach these different lights, which we used out there on the island for all various things. In fact, one of them was for the nightly net. So it gives you a really good way of either charging your phone or something like that. And they have there are 3 different sizes. They come in a single, a double, and a triple. So when you look at them, you'll see that they have 3 different sizes. And I've only tested out the single and the double. but they do work quite well. You can hang it from your belt loop or something and charge your phone if you needed to. And they're pretty high power too, yeah, so you might check those out. No affiliation with the Papa system or with myself, so I was just doing some testing and gave my results. So that's that. So if you have anything you'd like to kind of give us a little gear review tonight, that would be great. With that, let's see who is out there tonight. Take a few check-ins. If you'd like to just come and say, hey, hello, we're here, I'm listening, please do that. And or share any thing that you did this week or this weekend for the Outdoor Net. W6CJX Net Control for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. Please come out.
Kilo 6,
Kilo 6, Hotel November Golf.
November. KD6 LLB, it's timing.
Kilo Oscar 6, Juliet Charlie Alpha, Jeff, Papa 3.
November 6, Hotel Alpha Lima, Hal, Papa 9.
Kilo Juliet 6, Golf Echo Uniform, Bob, Mobile, Papa 8.
Kilo Oscar 6, Kilo Yankee Chuck, side, Papa 9.
All right. I think we'll stop there. So, in that round, I've got H&G FVN LLB, JCA, HAL, GEU. I got Chuck, but I didn't get your full call signs, but I'll get it when you come back in. And then John, PFN. Did I miss anyone in that round? I think there was one double.
K0WDG.
KF4 PQH.
Chuck KO6KCY.
Thank you, Chuck. You're such a good boy. All right, picked up Cowdog, and we picked up Ron. And I think K0WDG was a little towards the top, so I think I'm gonna go back up, bring you up a couple notches there, because it was right around when Adrian checked in, I think. And I think I might go with Bob because he's mobile. I don't think anyone else is mobile. So KJ6GEU, go ahead and welcome.
Hey, Bob. This is Bob. Yes, I'm still mobile. I'm on 8 whiskey at the moment. It is working. No real big gear changes or anything. About the only thing this year was a good friend of mine happened to need a hip replacement, and he had a really nice road bicycle, Giant, that he could still ride it, but it wasn't as good on the hills as it used to be, so he bought a really nice pricey e-bike, which helps him on the hills, and so he sold me his Giant road bike for a small fraction of what it's actually worth, and I actually love the thing a lot. I love the gearing on it, and it's just a dream to ride. The only thing is the seat that came on it was just an instrument of, medieval torture. So I did wind up getting a new one, and now all is copacetic. But that's about it. That's about the only piece of so-called outdoor gear I've gotten this year. But I just wanted to check into the net. Thanks for doing it as usual. And 73s to everyone out there. Back to Net Control, KJ6GEU.
Well, thanks, Bob. Well, that's perfect. Yeah, you had a nice present, a nice gift in a way, right? Knowing someone that gave it to you at a good price, and you love the bike. That's even better. So that's perfect. Yeah, that's a nice thing. So, well, yeah, as we get older, the e-bikes do help out a little bit. You still, they have those things now that you can put in front of you while you're watching TV and pedal, or I guess it pedals for you. You don't even have to pedal the thing. It just has this thing that just moves your feet around and your legs so that you can get some circulation. But, going out even on an e-bike, say, you're still moving your legs. Listen to me talk. I haven't been on mine in 6 months, but I'm planning on getting on it soon. All right. Thank you very much. As always, Bob. Let's go to Adrian first, and then I'll pick up James. KK6H&G, welcome.
Good evening, Bob, and everybody on the net. This is Adrian, KK6HNG, and, well, something funny went through my mind that the only way I would be mobile right now if an earthquake would start. But anyway, that's my dark humor. So, talking of new hardware testing, yeah, I tried actually even on the island a few new things, like, for example, a new very light liner for the sleeping bag that actually had no zippers. It was like a giant sock, if you can imagine how that would look like. And that worked pretty good, and it was pretty light, half the weight of something similar, much bigger anyway. Then a method to do omelets without actually having to carry non-refrigerated eggs, like using full powdered egg and having a frying pan sort of out of stainless steel, but because it's very thin, under it I have about a little bit of heat dissipating iron plate. And with coconut oil, that thing turned out to be quite good. That was another interesting experiment for the trail. Then another one, it was a power bank, a little smaller than what Bob describes, but it's still a little monster, like 100 watt hour and about 100 watt. And with that, I had a QC3 cable that could produce for any consumer pretty much whatever voltage I would need, from 5 volts to 20 volts. So all these things worked fine. And now, and one more thing, I had a small receiver that is able to do sideband. So sure enough, I was able to catch some traffic on the island for the very first time, because in the city, that thing wouldn't work whatsoever. So that's it for now. Thank you, Bob, for doing the net. KK6HNG.
Well, thank you, Adrian. I know you were getting quite a few comments on your powdered eggs over there, and I think you used those once before. I do remember them, but they do work, and that's, of course, what you're going to find in Mountain House, too. Is going to be powdered egg if you get their skillet. But yeah, I think you added the extra touch there with some coconut oil, and you're pretty. You're one of the amazing outdoor cooks that we have on the island, because everyone kind of cooks their own food, and you seem to just come up with these great things, and some of them might be a little strange to the average person, but I'm sure they do taste pretty good. And you do it all with your stove, and everything is good. A little stove there, it works just fine. So thank you for sharing that. And I did try a new air mattress this year. Not like I really needed another one, but I wanted something smaller, so I got a twin, and it has a built-in pump that's removable. And it also, I think you just put, well, I don't remember because I only did it the one time. I played it at home, and then there. It takes about 2 minutes maybe for it to inflate just beautifully, and then you just turn it off, and when you want to deflate it, push deflate, and then if you need to inflate someone else's mattress. And it's a USB-C chargeable now, so everything's, you've got to stock up on your USB-C cables. Thank you, Adrian, and let's say hello to James, because you came in right with you there and I wasn't able to pick him out. But K0WDG, anything new you'd like to review for us tonight on the Great Outdoor Net, please go ahead.
Hey, Bob, thanks for doing the net tonight. Great topic. I guess for the island, I bought a Jetboil half gen. So it's a single burner, but it's like a full-size burner. And I was a little skeptical about it, but it was definitely a performer. And they make one that's dual, but the nice thing is you can buy an adapter hose, so you can have your propane going into the half gen, and then have a hose that comes out to your Jetboil to do water, so you kind of have both burners running on one bottle, which is really nice. The other thing that I tried out, I got it on Temu or TikTok Shop or something, was a little USB-C chargeable shower pump with a wand and everything, and used that on the island, and it worked really good to have a little bit of running water. I took two Jetboils worth of warm water and 2 or 3 of cold, and was able to wash up one night, and it worked really good. It was only like $15 or something. I doubt it'll last very long, but it's a great little product. Other than that, I mean, there's tons of new gear. I could go on forever, but I won't. K0WDG, back to that.
Well, I got to ask you your honest opinion of the Skunky, because that was something new for this year. So I know you used it or used a couple, whatever, and I brought a bunch of them over for us to give them a try. They did seem to work good. I've tried one in the actual shower where I knew I could wash everything off case, but it sounds like you were able to just wipe it off or something. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, I started with the Skunky, and it worked really good. There's a ton of soap in there. And I kind of rinsed off as much as I could because that was kind of like the gateway drug, and I ended up pulling out the shampoo and washing my hair and everything and washed my face off, and it was amazing after 3 days of no shower and just using dude wipes. But they work really well. I think it'd be better if you washed them off. I mean, I don't think that residue is that bad, but it definitely does smell like the older lady's perfume. Hi. K0WDG, back to net.
I told you. I thought we had some older ladies in the in the camp. No, I'm just teasing. But it does have kind of that. We joke about it a little bit in our family too about the old lady perfume. Well, it's really what it is. It's stale perfume that goes stale. This is what I've learned from my wife. See, I'm not a perfume expert, but she does know a lot about that. So I think the good combination would be to have the Skunky, and then like you had your power nozzle that you put in water, and or like I purchased a pretty inexpensive shower bag. My other one's like 50 years old or something, and I didn't want to use it. But this one's got a real nice nozzle, like on your sink in your kitchen, you know, that type of a little squeeze nozzle thing that you can turn on and off for continuous, and then use the Skunky with that and just rinse that all off. So I think it's all biodegradable. Thank you, James. Always good time. Jump back in if you want. Let's say hello to Logan, KD6LLB. Any new outdoor gadgets, toys that you'd like to share tonight? Microphone's yours, and welcome.
Thanks, Bob. This is Logan, KD6LLB, coming in on Saddle Peak, Papa 4. And, some new outdoor gadgets and some outdoor gadgets that get used indoors when the power goes out, which happens for literally, 6 weeks at a time here, it seems. Let me just make a quick comment about Steve's encounter with the cyclists who looked like they had shiny new gear and didn't have a clue what they were doing or what kind of risk they were taking. I just want to let Steve know that I actually met those guys in about 1992 or 3 in Moab, and they were there every time I went on every ride. There was a constant supply of people from all over the country and all over the world in what I would describe as office worker shape and with no experience, and they would rent bikes, and then helicopters would have to spend hours and hours in the air trying to find them. But, anyway, luckily they mostly make it out, and I feel like a few times I or people that I've been around have actually made the difference and helped them make the good decision to turn back before they hiked across a slippery pass that was going to freeze with an oncoming sleet and rainstorm. Tennis shoes and cotton shirts, cotton sweatshirts in the Sierras. That's a real positive set. That's a good combination of gear. There were a couple of things that I was really glad I invested in, and I'll mention a couple. First of all, I've tried to just go with all 18650 rechargeable, USB-C rechargeable batteries for, all my headlamps. And the thing that I tried a couple of things, and I really like the Nitecore, Nitecore, and the particular model of headlamp that I have tried out and like is a Hotel Golf 68, HG68. And I'm sure they have a variety. It has the headband and the strap over the head, and the strap is pretty good. The adjustments are pretty good. It has adjustable red light and fairly good range. I don't need super bright, burning hot lights most of the time, but it does have a pretty bright light when I do need one occasionally. It has a good low light, so I'm spending weeks at a time in dark garage and house during the power outages that we have here. It's very useful, and I can walk around with it for hours, even have to use it in the daytime, and it's not too bothersome. It's pretty comfortable. So anyway, that was one I'm really happy I found. Another thing that I found that was actually useful, would be useful for car camping, but where I use it is in the house, again during power outages. I got a bunch of lanterns. We had complaints that there wasn't enough light during power outages, so I kind of went overboard and I bought about 8 lanterns. And I know the makers are Coast, and I can't find the model numbers on the 2 that I have here in the garage with me now. The other is Black Diamond. The Black Diamond one has sort of fold-out legs. Sorry, I don't know the model numbers, but anyway, I'm very happy with them. I've also got a few of them sort of suspended from the ceiling in the garage or places to hang them. And so it makes it a lot easier to get lighting in place when I need it because it's usually on short notice. The other thing is I found a sleeping bag, a Nemo sleeping bag with some pretty well-designed adjustable vents that I wish I had years ago. And I've only had a little bit of experience with it because they're warmer than anywhere anything I've needed, so I ended up having to get out even with the vents when I tried them. But the vents are much better than unzipping one side of your bag, letting an arm fall out, freeze, and then the condensation, that you put in your bag when you were overheating is then frosty. And anyway, you get the idea. So seems like a really good design, and I look forward to having those the next time I get to sleep out in a colder climate. Also found a Nemo ultralight sleeping pad. It is a hassle to inflate. It's not self-inflating, but it's very compact, and I can keep a couple in my truck, and it fits in the back of my truck, unlike my bags, my car camping, tent camping, bigger sleeping pads that I also like. And I guess that's all I can think of. Anyway, it's great to hear everybody, and I appreciate. I'm glad to be back here. I missed a couple of nets. I'm not happy about that, but I'm working through it. And so thanks, Bob, and thanks for everything you do. KD6LLB, back to Ned.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. About sticking an arm or leg out. I had a little trouble. I've got this North Face bag that I've mentioned a few times, the Big Blue Gazoo. It's the only thing that would fit me then and probably now. And it's just wonderful. And I've had it since about 92 or something like that. And paid something like $350 for it, which I thought was absurd, but it is original, kind of an original North Face. I think it still was made in China, but just beautiful. And I love it, and I'll never give it away or get rid of it because it works great. But I did have a trouble with the zipper, and it was getting really kind of cold over there on the island, so I had to kind of like get down there and figure out what part of the fabric was stuck inside of the zipper. And then it's a common thing that happens on that one because of the air flap, I guess it's inside, that keeps the cold out. It's a wonderful bag, though, but you just have to know how to work it. All right, thank you, Logan, as always, and sounds like a great, those Nest Out battery packs that you can put the lights, they're proprietary lights, so you can't just put any light on it unless it's a USB plug, you can plug it in, I guess, but if you wanted to actually make it into like a lamp setup or lantern, these have, when you buy the lamp, which is separate from the battery, you get a little set of legs that you screw in at the bottom, and then put the lamp on top of that, and it becomes a lamp. And you can hang it upside down that way, too, with the thing. W6CJX for the Papa System, great outdoor net. Let's say hello to Jeff, KO6JCA.
Thank you, Bob. Kilo Oscar 6, Juliet. Charlie Alpha Jeff coming in on Papa 3 tonight. Great to hear you. Thanks for hosting the net. And I was just going to comment on, like Logan commented about Steve's report from the field. I just want to say I really appreciate Steve. It sounds like you're a great concerned and responsible hiker. I've been out on trail for many years, and I think we need more people that have that attitude of responsibility that you seem to have when you that you relayed in your stories. I think the takeaway from those two bikers is they were what we were all at one time. They're young and they don't have the experience, so hopefully they'll survive. But I think it's great that you're concerned about them. And Logan, yeah, I was out in Moab around that time in '89, '90, early '90s, and I know what you're talking about, Logan, about those bikers out in Moab. But as far as gear, I had never heard of Nest Out, Bob. I appreciate that. I'm looking at their website. It looks like they're a Japanese company, or they're part of Elecom, a Japanese company. So definitely looks like I may need to do some shopping. Anyway, thanks, and 7-3 all. Back to net control. KO6 JCA.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, there's always been, I've done the same thing. One of my favorite hiking boots, I use that term loosely, that I've seen on the trail are flip-flops. And I don't know if anybody's gone downhill, or like steep downhill with flip-flops on. Kind of strangles the toes there. Anyway, but it's, you're going to get that. You know, I've seen that with one jug of water for 5 people, which is better than nothing, but I feel sorry for the guy carrying the gallon jug of water. So, yeah, there's some good stuff out there. And, yeah, check them out. Like I said, no affiliation with me or the Papa System. Just I did a little testing and checked them out, and I approve. Yeah, I think they're great. It's a dual purpose. I think the USB-C was how you charge it, but it's also bi-directional. So if you have a C to C or something like that, you could use that as a charging or a discharging port, I should say. And then there's a USB-A, which would be normally what you would probably plug your phone or something into that and then into your phone. All right, Jeff, thank you for being a regular here all the time. We love it. And some good information passed on by all. Let's say hello to Hal. N6 HAL. Good evening, Chief.
N6 HAL. Good evening, Bob. Thanks for holding the net. Well, I don't hike and I don't do much camping anymore, so I haven't gotten any new outdoor camping type gear. Been spending most of my time getting for whatever outside activities I may have by belonging to a member of the San Marcos CERT team. So I've been kind of getting gear for putting in my CERT go bag. So a couple things I picked up are backup batteries for my radios and for my cell phones. But somebody mentioned about your camping trip over there and doing eggs. I have a little thing that we use for camping. I think my recipe might work for powdered eggs also. What we used to do to make omelets when we were out camping was most everybody has a pot and water that they're going to boil for something while they're camping. Well, you just take Ziploc bags and you put in that Ziploc bag a couple of cracked eggs, but if you don't have the fresh cracked eggs, make your powdered eggs, stir them up with the water or whatever, put them in the Ziploc bag, and cut up whatever ingredients you want inside that omelet, like onions, bacon, ham, whatever, and put that inside the bag with the egg mixture, and seal the bags, and then put them in a pan of boiling water and leave them in there for, I think it was, 5 or 6 minutes, and it all mixes together and it makes an omelet. Tastes pretty good. That's about all I have for tonight, Bob. Thanks for doing the net. N6 Hotel Alpha Lima, back to the net.
Well, I think it's something we could probably work on at home too. Try it, just to. That sounds kind of interesting. I might have to do that. Sounds pretty cool. Where you just put a couple eggs in there, then put your ingredients, and you can probably just shake it up and mush it together and do all kinds of stuff. Because you probably don't have like too many utensils out in the field, so that would be kind of neat. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, that's good. Well, yeah, the CERT stuff works too. That's outdoor stuff, I guess, and of course it has anything to do with survival and those kind of things. Like Logan was saying, there's just so many camping things that we can use at home. And way I look at camping equipment is like tools. Unless you have 3 wrenches of the same size and you just know you're not going to use the other 2 or 3 altogether, you might want to keep an extra one, get rid of it. But other than that, tools, just keep tools. You never know when you're going to need them. And the same thing with the camping equipment. a tent. You love to have a tent if you're stuck outside because of, an earthquake or something and you have to sleep outside or in your car. I'd love to have a nice tent with a big air mattress right in the backyard or even at a park if you had to. All right, thank you, Hal. W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. Let's say hello to Chuck down in, I think he said Oceanside, KO6 KCY.
Hey, Bob. This is Chuck, KO6KCY, and I wasn't able to make it to the ham camp. I'm a fairly new Pampa member here, but look for me next year. But my most recent camping experience was in Anza Borrego back in April, and I was looking for a stove. I do have a jet boil that I've used for backpacking, but I didn't want to use that, so I got one of those very cheap, like a single burner propane stove that I got, and I wanted to make a windbreak for it. So anyway, I'm a woodworker, and I had some quarter-inch plywood laying around, so I cut up 3 panels of plywood, had some piano hinge, and made a little windbreak for it. So anyway, it worked really well, and had a good time out in Anza Borrego, saw some pictoglyphs, and so anyway, that's my contribution to the outdoor net. So anyway, Kilo Oscar 6 Kilo Charlie Yankee, back to the net.
Well, nothing like making your own new gadgets or gear for that's perfect. Being able that you have that ability to work with wood, and I can kind of picture it. I'm sure you cut it in a way where it looks nice, and probably that would work fine. I mean, it's not going to catch on fire just because it's wood or anything like that. It's going to be blocking the wind, so that would work out just fine. Yeah, jet boils. Yeah, I've got mine for when they first came out. I think got it at REI, and I love it. Have it ever since. The igniter stopped at one time, and it was out on the island, and Adrian took a look at it, and he started pulling the little wire out a little further because it just, they burn after a while. You've got all that torch. It's like the jet. It's like a jet, right? Those that have jet boils know they boil water very efficiently. But I also found out, and I mentioned it, I think last week or the week before on the net, was that you can bake popcorn. Not a big quantity, but, just throw a few kernels in there and a little oil, and it'll make delicious popcorn. So we can look forward to that next year on the island when you come out with us. Okay. Thanks, Jack. We'll look forward to it. Let's say hello to John, K6PFN. Welcome, John.
Good evening, Bob and the net. John, K6PFN here. Hadn't thought of jet boils and popcorn. So, yeah, that's next camp out. That's where I'll be. What a great topic. Taking tons of notes. Vented sleeping bags that Logan brought up. I'll really have to investigate that because that sounds like something I need. The thing I'd bring up, a recent purchase, really low tech. I've got some stormproof matches from UCO, Uniform Charlie Oscar at REI. They're great, but I think what I'm going to do next is just an old-fashioned Zippo lighter. So again, when your jet boil igniter doesn't work or whatever, you need to have a spark. I think an old-fashioned Zippo lighter is what I want to have handy. It just, they work. So anyway, what a great topic. Thank you. Back to you, Bob, K6PFN.
Well, I have to laugh when you said like a Zippo lighter, which are great. They're windproof, and but back when I used to watch like Dual Survival and and Bear Grylls and all those guys, and they're trying to make fire, and I know they're trying to teach you, and of course like doing a bow drill and everything. I still would love. That's a bucket list outdoor item. I'd love to make one, and like I say, you're at a campsite, just have nothing better to do than camp chores and make a bow drill. I just would love to do that and then put it to use and try it, where it's not a life-threatening situation, but just so that you can say I did it and it works. But I always thought, put a Bic lighter in your pocket, and worst case, if the Bic lighter runs out of gas, usually those igniters will, the little spark deal there with the flint or whatever they use in there, will outlast the gas or whatever fuel inside of the lighter. So those are good to have, because even that, I've lit my jet boil very carefully, turn the gas on, and then just hit it real quick with a spark, and it'll go. So just even an old lighter will work pretty well. So I was just laughing to that because it is kind of fun. Good stuff. Yeah. Well, we're gonna make sure we make some popcorn next year. I can see I'll be out there all night, having to make a handful of popcorn at a time. it's it is pretty good. I've tried it. Thank you, John, as always. And let's go to Ron. We have Ron at the bottom of my list here. We're gonna say hello to KF4 PQH. Welcome, Ron.
Good evening, Bob and Annette. This is KF4 PQH in Locust Grove, Virginia, coming in on All Star. Greetings, everybody out there. So I guess my latest outdoor acquisition, there's a good word, acquisition is a Weber 325 propane grill. I've been nomad for so long, I had a little small grill. I could do a couple steaks and maybe 4 hamburgers in the motorhome. But this one's a bit bigger, not that big, but it's got 3 burners, and I'm back into, as we settle down here, doing some outside grilling. Had some friends over the other night, and I made some flank steak and some marinated chicken and some kielbasa sausage. So getting back into the grilling and enjoying life. Hope things are going well out there. It's starting to cool off. It's actually 57 degrees out here tonight. It was in the high 70s today, though, so in Virginia, and going to be seeing a fall. I haven't seen a fall in a while because I've typically been out west. So this is KF4 PQH73, everybody, and back to net control.
Yeah, I saw you sporting that new grill, and that was beautiful, beautiful thing. And it's a Weber, which I always cheaped out and got the other brands. I love Weber, the charcoal grills, which I've had for years. And so I'm sure they make really, really good gas grills. I just never bit the bullet on that. And so now I'm pretty much just a Weber grill, charcoal, and my Green Mountain smoker. And if I can't cook enough on those two, then I don't know, I'll just order out. Not. So anyway, but thanks, Ron. It sounds good. And yeah, it's, delicious stuff comes off of those barbecues for sure. Well, I'm at the bottom of my list, and say hello to Dee for me. The other thing I did try out, some of the guys got to see the day people, the day trippers, I like to call them, came out, didn't get to see the string lights, and I actually forgot I had them. They come in a little thing, looks like a flying saucer sort of, and you've probably seen them on TV and all different places. You can get them off Amazon or wherever you buy your stuff. And they're rechargeable. Some of them have a solar panel on top, which I kind of wish mine did. But as far as pulling the lights out, they're like the little tiny, not bee lights, but they just come out on the string. And then you can either have them on constantly, and you just string it up in a tree. You don't have to just do some abstract stringing into the tree, and it'll just look beautiful. So we did that for a couple of nights, and it worked out pretty nice. This is W6CJX for the Papa System. Great outdoor net. Let's see if we have any other people out there that would like the stations come in and give us your name and phone number. No, just name and call sign. And we'll welcome you to the net. So please come now.
KE6FVN, Jim in Cerritos.
K6QYO, Eric in Northridge.
Steve, WA6 Foxtrot Golf Whiskey, Woodland Hills.
Ellen, Kilo 6 Delta Victor.
KC6 WTN, Jeff.
Okay, I got everybody. I think that was quite orderly. And we got Jim back. Jim Backus? Remember him? He was a great actor. No, we got Jim back. Also, KE6FVN. Welcome, Jim.
Good evening. KE6FVN, just Jim in Cerritos. Just wanted to check in, say hi. Nothing for the outdoors net. KE6FVN. And I do remember seeing Jim back as the actor in some of the reruns of some of the Burris programs. Gilligan's Island being one of them. KE6FVN.
Yes, old Mr. Howell and Lovey. They were great. Those are the shows that you can just watch over and over. Some of them you forget, some of them you remember that you saw maybe as a kid, but they come back because they have them on MeTV and all those others out there. So Yeah, good stuff, Jim. Always love to hear from you. And I didn't know what happened to you earlier, but I'm glad you came back. Let's say hello to, I think it's Kilo 6, Quebec Yankee Oscar, and correct that if you will, and give us your name. And I think you already did, but I didn't write it down. So give us your name again and anything you have for the net tonight, and welcome.
Yeah, no worries, Bob. This is Kilo 6 Quebec Yankee Oscar. I'm coming in on Papa 4. The name is Eric, and I'm in Northridge. And it's been a while since I checked into AnyNet, but turned it on. I'm getting ready for a little trip. Just an overnighter. I'm sure you're aware of it, Bob. I'm going to Faria, just kind of hanging out, just try to get away from it all. But I didn't hear most of the traffic when I turned it on, but I just wanted to check in and say hello, and thank you for doing the net as always. Back to you, Kilo 6, Quebec Yankee Oscar.
Well, good to hear you tonight, Eric, and have a great time at Freya Beach up there. Yeah, I know exactly where that is. And if you have access to Wi-Fi or the internet, you can go to the Papa YouTube page, either through the Papa System website, or you can just go in there and type in, I think is it Bob W6CJX? I think that's how it's worded. Anyway, you can look up all the archives, and then it'll be there tomorrow, probably afternoon once I publish it. So it'll be good, and have a great time up there. That'll be fun. It's should be nice. It'll be a little cooler now, but the beach will be just perfect. Build a nice fire and carry a blanket or something around with you. But yeah, it'll be nice. So looking forward to that, I'm sure. Let's say hello to Steve, WA6FGW. Welcome, Steve. How's it going tonight? And give us anything you have for the net.
All righty. Well, very good there, Bob, and good to hear the net. I missed the last week or two for sundry family-type reasons. Anyway, a couple quick comments. You had mentioned you hadn't seen, I forget exactly how, when the context was, something about flip-flops out on the trail. And I've got a super short story. One of the trips that our backpacking group did that went into Zion Canyon, and we basically started up high and ended up low. So we did the whole 3-day effect. But one of the guys, his son, who was in college at that time, I would have thought would have known better, but he did survive nicely. He wore flip-flops in the entire backpacking event of 3 days, 3 nights, and survived. And that included going out on Angel's Landing, which I wouldn't do with even good shoes or boots, but that's individual. That's a separate issue. Are you afraid of heights? And most, how would you say it, inappropriate attire. The last time that we did Mount Whitney, we passed a couple of people that were basically in running attire, skimpy shorts and tank tops, and I don't remember them having any extra things like water canteens with them. They probably did, but I don't remember it. It was pretty bizarre. Anyway, back to the original topic of new types of equipment. My most recent acquisition was about, I think, 3-4 years ago when I was still kind of doing real backpacking trips, and ran across a manufacturer called Montbell. And the unique thing about that one is that it's stitched such a way with some sort of elastic stitching. And their whole philosophy, as you know, the sleeping bag, the less air inside that has to get warmed up, the better off you are in the long run as far as, staying warm. And but then as soon as you throw a knee out to the side, it distorts that, and you could suck some cold air in. Anyway, they have a lot of elasticity built into their design. And they only use, I think it was 850, whatever the filling is. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, it was, we're talking a $350 whatever, but it was, good for way down there, and probably down around the zero mark. Anyway, I don't remember all the details. Mine isn't quite that cold. But thanks for doing the net. It's wonderful seeing commonalities in what our needs are on the trail. Back to you, WA6FGW.
Yeah, I used to see the Montbell ads in the Backpacker magazine, and they would show a person in it and like in the fetal position, which you can't really do very easily in a mummy bag. And like you said, they use some kind of a spandex or elastic stitching or something that allows that thing to just like, you can almost sleep sideways in it, which I thought would be really, really good. And especially for someone my size, let's say, that needs that little extra room, maybe it would just, I don't know, expand to the size that I need and then keep it closed and tight so that you don't get cold. But on the island this year and pretty much every year, the middle of the night, it gets cold, in the 50s, I suppose. So that's cold enough. And at least it's cold enough to get down in a down bag. I think mine's, 32, something like that. And zip it up and just feel really comfortable, So with the down, it's a great insulator. Of course, not so great when it gets wet. But the Permaloft, I think they've made some great advances with that, where it's almost the same thermal value as down, and if it gets wet, that doesn't affect its efficiency. So there, W6CJX for the Papa System, great outdoor net. All right, Steve, always some good stuff, and enjoy hearing from you, and hope you're going to maybe take a trip or two. We got to get out in our trailer here pretty soon too, but we got so many things going on that we're kind of piled up on appointments and things, but we'll get all that straightened out. Ellen, good evening. K6 Delta Victor. A little too late for the sheepies, but you could maybe pretend.
I keep waiting for the squelch to drop. Anyway, yeah, it's too late for the sheepies, but they're happy campers. Speaking of new equipment, I don't have new equipment, but today I used a piece of old equipment that I've had for years, and it's a 15-watt solar power solar thing. It's by Anchor, and the reason I wasn't even going to join the net tonight, but I was out with the sheep this evening before sunset, had the chainsaw with me, and I was cutting some of the bigger brush to clear out more of the fire break around the house, and the sheep are with me, and I picked up my phone because I never go there without my phone and my little HD in case something happens, but the phone battery was dead, and so I said I better find my solar panel, and I've had this camping solar panel that folds down to 5 by 9 inches, and it's cloth covered with loops on 6 different loops on it, and I've used this over and over again on all my motorcycling trips. I'll throw it on the back of my bag and it'll charge whatever I need charging while I'm riding. And I was looking around to see if there was anything similar to it on Amazon, and there is, and there's even better ones. But I tell you, this afternoon, my peace of mind was with my solar panel, and I had it hung on a bush because I put it on a rock, and Shadow said, "Oh, new toy." Oh, jeepers. I chased him down, got it out of his mouth, and collected my phone, which went dragging off into the grasses. So it was a fun evening with the sheep. I did get some work done, though, and my phone was operational if I had to call 911 for cutting off a limb. And I don't mean the woody kind. So I'm back inside, all safe. The Anchor solar panel has proven to be the most worthwhile purchase I have ever made because of the trips on the motorcycle and just cases like this when I need to have my phone charged when I'm out in BF nowhere on my 40 acres. So back to you, Bob. And I listened to the net, enjoy the heck out of it. So K6, Delta Victor, back to you.
Yeah, Anchor's a great brand. I have a small phone charger. It's like the size of a phone, or as my phone, and it will charge that phone 2 or 3 times, and it's very small, thin. So Anchor makes some really good stuff. I didn't mention that the Nest Out thing that I reviewed actually has a pretty nice solar panel. They say it's a 28 watt. I know it's not probably totally that, but I did use it on the island, and it actually charged other things. I didn't have to charge the little Nest Out batteries because we're using them at night for lights, but it does work. It's a nice little fold out solar panel, and very small and lightweight for being 28 watts supposedly. All right, well, thank you, Ellen, as always. Sounds good. Yeah, those are things to have. I remember sometime packing, I used to use Goal Zero. It was kind of the early days before a lot of this other stuff started popping up everywhere. And I remember having one of those that just sits on the back of your backpack and just plug it into your phone while you're hiking. And sure enough, it does charge the battery. So they work pretty darn well. Let's say hello to Jeff. I got on my bottom of my list here, KC6WTN. Welcome, Jeff. How are you doing, and what's up?
Hiya, Bob. Thanks for doing the net tonight. I think I'll piggyback on Ellen. I use a what they call a power station. It's about the size of a lunchbox, and it even has a handle. And it provides lithium iron power. You know, it's the high-tech power battery, and it provides a DC socket, like for car adapters if you need it, and it's got 4 USB ports and 110 volt AC outlet. So this is something I toss in the car when I travel, and it came with a solar panel that folds out that provides 50 watts to charge it. The whole thing is 330 watts, and I find it useful mainly when Edison decides to terminate my power, but day to day I just toss it on the patio when I'm using my radio, and I can keep it charged with my phone. So I find it a good utility, and it's not too expensive. KC6 WTN.
Well, the part that I liked was you said, I'd throw it, toss it in the car anytime I go anywhere, or even, just on a day trip or something. Something I do because I am CPAP reliant. Well, not reliant, but reliant on my CPAP equipment. And even if we go somewhere for just like let's for instance, we went to the picnic. So it's quite a ways away from our house. And if something was to happen mechanically, either the truck or, something happens where you're delayed, you got to spend the night, I wouldn't have anything. So I always throw that. It's in a nice little, one of those coolers, like a soft side cooler, only with the hard bucket inside. And I have an extra battery and all that in there. So, yeah, I agree 100%. Good to have something, in your car, especially if you're going to go pretty far away. Or maybe just leave it in the car. I guess you could always keep it charged up. One of those maintenance things. All right, Jeff, thank you for sharing all that. And I guess I'm at the bottom of my list, so let's see if we have anyone out there we might have missed. I apologize. If not, if anybody new wants to come in, we still got some time. W6CJX Net Control, please come now.
KD6 LLB. Recheck.
K0WDG.
KO6 COJ.
All right. We picked up a couple of rechecks, and we picked up Johnny, who's neither rechecked or a reject. Let's go with Johnny since you're new, and I'll come right back to Logan. So hold the thoughts.
Hey, good evening, Bob, and everyone on the net. I'm a little late to the party. There was a Simplex exercise tonight for the local club here, and so anyway, I just got done with that. Sounds like we're talking about power something or other.
What is the topic, sir? Could you let me know what that is, please?
I know I'm kind of bad about reissuing the topic throughout the net. I try, but then I forget sometimes. The topic is just anything new gear, outdoor gear that you might have acquired recently. And it could even be radio related or whatever. I know you got a nice new antenna because, boy, that sounds amazing. So, yeah, just any new outdoor gear that you might have acquired in this year and try it out and like it or don't like it.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, aside from this great antenna that I got up now, I'm actually on my Yaesu tonight for the first time in quite a long time. Normally I check in with my HT on a mag mount and transmit over to Papa 1 since Papa 26 and 25 are no good locally. But new gear. I bought a couple of Astron power supplies. One's a 20 amp power supply and one's a 35 amp power supply. Both of them have the meters on them for voltage and amperage, and I love them. They work very well. They're kind of a household name as far as power supplies go with ham radio. And I'm using my little Vertex speaker tonight. So I'm playing with all my toys. And anyway, I got my HF rig set up. So I'm looking at my entire rig right now. My antenna tuner, my Kenwood 850, my Yaesu radio, and my Diamond SWR meter, along with power supply and external speaker. So I'm just having a blast, and I love all of it. I highly recommend it if you can get one. Anyway, good to hear you out there, Bob. Miss seeing you, man. I hope we can get together before the holidays come, because they're coming quick. Anyway, KO6COJ, back to net control, 73, everybody.
Yeah, I've been thinking about you, my friend, so we need to get together, go have a quick lunch somewhere. Not quick, but I mean, just, that's what people say. Let's go get a quick lunch. Well, those are people that see each other every day. We're talking, we've got to spend some time together, talk and hash over our stuff we've been doing. So I promise we'll get it together. I've been, and I got to set up a new appointment tomorrow for something at the, so we'll have to see what that entails. Hopefully it won't be this week with luncheon to go to. Thank you, Johnny. Good to hear you, and you sound great. So yeah, you're doing great with that antenna. So no worries there. And Papa One's a good friend. That's good for me too, even way down here in Camarillo. Let's go back up and say hello to Logan, KD6 LLB with the recheck. Go ahead, Logan.
Thanks, Bob. So this is Logan, KD6 LLB on Saddle Peak, recheck, and I just wanted to jump in and kind of second what Ellen and Jeff were talking about. I happen to have a couple of the Anchor. I don't know, this is whenever 2000 and the end of 2018, I guess it was. Maybe it was 19, I can't even remember. But when the Woolsey fire came and we were, back here without power for, I don't know, I think it was 10 days. It seemed like longer. Those things, the two that I happened to have, that just in case, turned out to, they kind of met their case. They were very helpful to keep our phones charged so that we could not communicate with anybody because we didn't have a signal. But, occasionally we could get a text message in and out. And those things made it possible, based on what I had at the time. My generator, I just didn't have a way to take power off of my generator conveniently to charge little electronic devices, and those little fold-up solar PV modules with USB-A outputs turned out to be very useful, and I've got a collection of them. I've given them away as gifts to friends to have on hand, and some of them actually ended up using them. Keep them in cars, and they're good to have around, and it was actually just kind of touched something that has really helped me out, and hearing Ellen mention it just made me want to comment on it. And also, Ellen, we missed you this morning. We're going to have to start contacting you before the Simplex exercise because it's not the same without your base station out there. So, but I'm glad to know everything's fine. And Johnny, I really enjoy your new antenna. So you sound great, and I know you're having fun. Okay, thanks, Bob, and good evening, everyone. KD6LLB, back to you, Bob.
Well, it's great when you get new things and then you love using them. And that's kind of how I am with everything, too. I get something if I usually don't try to get it if I don't like it or if I don't think I'll like it a lot. And then sometimes I just fall in love with it, whether it be a radio or, some audio equipment or whatever here in the shack or something. But it just, just like fits perfectly. And it's like, okay, I'm done. I like the picture you sent me. You've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 or 5 of the different types of foldable solar panels. And these are not the huge ones. I mean, they're getting bigger, the 100 watt, 200 watt. I did pick up 2 Jackeries when they had some crazy sale on Amazon. I was going to get one of the larger ones, like the 3000, but then it just made more sense to get 2 of the 1000, I think with the V Victor. And then I got 2 of the 100 watt solar panels. And then for about the price of the 3000 and maybe one solar panel, I got all that. And so at least that way we have 2 where I can actually run the refrigerator if I needed to on one of them for a while, and then either be charging the other one or, we have like a 10-day outage like you had. And we just had power outage here in Camarillo for like the whole day. Had no reason why, it just happened, and lost internet and couldn't even use cell phones. The cell towers, I guess, went out. I don't know what was going on that day. So we just went ahead and said, hey, this is it. We got radio, so that's all we really need. So we're good. All right. Thank you, Logan. Thanks for sharing that. And let's say hello to James K0WDG. Welcome back.
Hey, so, I was thinking about it when you said the new gear stuff. Last year on the island, I brought my hammock, and this year I threw the Nemo pad inside the hammock, and it did 2 things after sleeping on the first night. I noticed that Evo had on his hammock that he had insulation, and that made it just way more comfortable. But then also it was it made everything so the hammock wouldn't fold up on you. It was more like sleeping in a bed, which was pretty cool. So it's a lot of times you can buy trick stuff, but sometimes you just throw something together on a whim and it works really good. And the other thing I was going to mention that I'm actually probably in the process of ordering as we speak is there's a company called MT Provisions, I think it's called, or MT Products, and they have a backpacking, it's an ultralight shelf that has 2 little supports, and you put it up on a tree, and it comes with a strap that you strap it to the tree with, and then it has a little notch that you can put your fuel can in from the bottom and then thread your stove in on top, so then the fuel can just hangs below the shelf, and you have a nice stable place to cook, because a lot of times, you end up, if you're backpacking somewhere or you're not in a developed campsite, you have nowhere nice and flat at a comfortable height to do any cooking. So this thing's pretty slick, little aluminum deal, ounces equal pounds, but hey, it's better than spilling your jet boil or your stove or whatever you're doing, and have a nice little spot to call your kitchen, I guess, away from home. Anyhow, I'll throw it back to Ned, K0WDG.
Well, that's a great idea. I didn't think of something like that. Maybe, yeah, because especially if you have a place where you can thread your bottle of fuel through the bottom and then have the stove on the top. That's it. Sounds interesting. I'll have to look that. Don't know if it's something I could use, but yeah, like you said, it's especially for backpackers. I remember a few times just, you're sitting on a rock. That's all you've got. So it's maybe just a high enough rock where you can kind of hang your legs down or put them back down on the ground. And then next to you sits your jet boil on kind of a scary little incline as you're putting stuff in it. Your precious meal of the day that you don't want to spill and go all over the rocks and have some of the critters eat it overnight. So that sounds pretty darn cool. Yeah, maybe you can just set it low enough to set a stool or a chair next to it, and you can just kind of do your cooking thing. There you go. W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. All right, last call. Let's had a great group of knowledgeable people out there sharing their new equipment and new gear for the year. I guess that's what I'll just call it, new gear for the year. It's we've had some time to test these things, and as we're going into fall, so that doesn't mean we can't keep doing what we do on the great outdoors even year round here, because it's really not that we don't have to put everything away when it starts snowing, right? Let's see who else is out there. Last call. We'll do one more round and then we'll hang it up for the night. W6CJX, net control.
November 6, Alpha, Quebec, Quebec.
Kilo Oscar 6, Delta Golf X-Ray.
Kilo November 6, Bravo Hotel Tango.
Kilo Oscar 6, Bravo Kilo X-Ray.
Kilo Juliet 6, Mike India Delta.
Okay, I've run out of room on my page. In fact, I tripled everybody on the last line there. I guess that's a good thing. I'm not complaining. It's I just run out of paper, so I'm gonna. That's a good thing. I picked up Andrew W6ALB. I got Dale N6AQQ. I got Rick KO6DGX. I got Evo KO6BKX. I got KN6 with a B, and I think I know who you are, but I'll just call you that for right now. And then I got Jonathan KJ6MID. So let's go to the top and say hello to Andrew W6ALB out in Tucson. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening there, Bob. W6ALB Andrew in Tucson over here. Yep, just over here. I'm out front on the front of the house by the driveway over here side. Over here I have a big, hunky, huge Healy monster sitting over there. So I got my metal rake out there, garden place. So he doesn't come in the garage. He's a big guy. I don't hurt him and I don't harm him or anything like that. He's big though. If he gets too close, I'll just take the metal rake and I'll bang a rock, and he's big. You can hear him, he's trying to spit on the rake too. So that's what I'm doing over here. Listening to that, I'm just babysitting the front over here. And I guess probably going to go to the backyard out there and farm the barbecue after this net. But great for all the information out there and just enjoying the net. Nothing more to add. By the way, Bob, I just sent you a picture of the Mr. Healy out there. So we had a guest tonight, Mr. Healy. Back to you, W6ALB.
You know, I love the Healy monsters just because it says part of their name is monster. And I think, didn't they make a movie that was a Gila monster? And of course, it was a big, huge one that took over this town, kind of like The Blob or one of those scary movies, The Outer Limits, or no, it wasn't Outer Limits. But, you know, I can't see it just yet, but I will right here soon. And love those things. They are so nasty looking. I don't think they're poisonous, are they? Let me know. That's inquiring minds want to know. Are they poisonous or just mean they'll bite you?
These ones are poisonous, actually. That's what I've been told by a lot of people out here in the community out there. But I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to get near him. When you open his mouth up, see, here's the thing. I have a pet frog that's been sitting on the side over here, on the side door. He likes to get under the air. We have a little pipe that comes outside the house. So when the air conditioner is going, which is on right now, it drips water. So the frogs go on and they sit under that thing right there, get themselves wet and stuff that time of year. So he was done sunbathing or water bathing, and he was going towards the Ely. So I don't know if they eat frogs or not. So I ushered him with the rake to the other way. So he's gone. The frog is safe now. I don't know if they eat, but I didn't want to watch it. Yeah, but I know that they're making Ozempic, that medical drug, out of Healy monster. So we'll see about that. Back to you, W6
Yeah, I'd always heard that they were, and I just thought, well, maybe I should ask, since you've got one in your yard right now. They're interesting little creatures there. Well, you be safe. Save the frog, so you did your good deed for the day. They probably do. I imagine they eat something. Maybe mostly bugs, hopefully, and not people. Let's say hello to Dale in 6AQQ. Good evening, Dale, and welcome.
Good evening, everybody. I'm just listening to the net. Didn't buy anything this year for outdoors, other projects. So I didn't buy anything. So I'm just listening to the net. Just thought I'd check in, say hello. N682, thanks for doing it, Bob.
Well, good to hear you always, Dale. So just come in and say, hey, that's absolutely perfect. And we love to hear from you. Make sure that, yeah, and you just listen and you learn stuff. I learn stuff. I mean, I got a whole left page over here on my logbook of things that people have talked about and recommended or that they bought, so that, because otherwise I'll forget. And this way I can get a chance to look it up. And I do that when people go to certain places I've never heard about. When I check it out, I'll write it down on my notes over here. Okay, Dale, we'll stay cool. Hopefully it's supposed to be cool here pretty soon. And let's go to Rick, KO6DGX. Welcome, my friend, and what you got?
Hey, thank you very much, Bob. And another golden one, hitting it out of the park as usual. But I got to say that about Steve. Oh, man, his commentary. Steve, if you're listening, when you get a chance, he hit it out of the park. I think that was really pertinent, golden information for us people who get out onto those backcountry trails. But you can expand that to people who go inexperienced into four-wheeling into the backcountry and, aren't properly equipped. So kudos to point that out, and everybody always make sure the young people, because one station mentioned that, that's one of the errors of being young. And, yeah, tell the young people to be sensible when they go into the backcountry. Now, jumping forward, yeah, I got something I want to share with you guys that was really important. It's not like really, it's nothing new. It goes back to the dawn of mankind. But and Ellen had mentioned peace of mind. So this product is intended to give you peace of mind even when it's not in use, and be there for you in a pinch. And sorry about the pun. So this thing is called the Luggable Loo. It's not intended for people who are backpacking in the backcountry or something, but it's useful in a campground even, and definitely useful on long haul road trips and stuff. And what it is, the Luggable Loo, well, in America we call it the John, but for some reason the Luggable Loo is called the Luggable Loo here, but a loo is from England. So basically what it is, it's a 5-gallon bucket. It has a nice seat that snaps onto the top. It has like these bags with special chemicals and stuff that you use as your facility. And man, I'm telling you, I've never regretted it. I got my first one about 10 years ago. I got a couple different incarnations, and it never fails to come through for you. So I much rather use it than a public restroom. And we travel in a big van, so it's easy to use. And you could use it in a pickup truck if you have to, outside your pickup truck, because I use it on my property when I'm out there mowing and all that stuff. So anyways, trust me, for anybody on a road trip or that just might need your own facility when there's one not available, it'll save your your guts, relieve your bladder. This will be thank you, Bob, and I hope that's useful to somebody. KO6DGX.
Yeah, those are I've seen them in some of the survival kits and things, and especially like for schools. And I think they'll just sell you just the top of it where you can use your own 5-gallon bucket, but that's something you definitely would want to have. And of course you could just take the 5-gallon bucket, or if you buy the whole, what was it called? The Wonderloo? I don't know. But it could be Wonder John, I guess. But anyway, it's you can put some toilet paper in there and some Pine Sol, and then just put the lid on it and put a lid on it, and then you've got a portable bathroom to go just about anywhere you need to, or some wipes. Yeah, there you go, dude wipes. That was mentioned tonight. Those are wonderful for dudes and dudettes and the skunkies. So we might have to cover personal hygiene some night here on the Outdoor Net. Thank you, Rick. Good stuff. Good stuff. Bringing it in there, the porta potty. KO6BKX, welcome Evo, and how's it going?
Hey, good evening, Bob. KO6PKX here on Papa 3. It is going well. I've had some experience or experimenting the last ham camp again, as I did last year. Definitely solar panels and batteries is an absolutely must, I think, for camping nowadays. One thing I didn't hear, and I may have missed it, so my apologies if I missed it, but I'm wondering how much longer it's going to be until Starlink is going to be a gadget that you take with you camping. I had some opportunity to test it out here on the last ham camp, and I think I really see a future for it. I don't know about anybody else, but I definitely don't believe it's going to be much longer until that is one of your things that you put in a backpack when you go camping. All right, I'll give it back to you, Bob. Great topic, by the way. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for doing the net. KO6BKX, back to net control.
And if Evo didn't get enough island camping, he's going to go camping again this week. So I'm jealous. Oh my gosh. You got a different island, though. Probably one has a few more amenities. You won't need to have a Lugaloo. I like that name. Oh my gosh. It's funny. Yeah, when you were talking about it, and then, of course, what I saw, what you had there on the island, too, I can see it becoming something like a little miniature solar panel type of thing. Well, yours wasn't that big either. God, you could stick that in a backpack. I don't know. It's one of those things. People want to get away from all that, but then at the same time, be nice to have some, maybe some semi-solid communications. But like I had said before, I really enjoy doing the satellite messaging from my iPhone. I think that's an amazing feature, and it worked really, really well. I have to admit, even under the trees, if you get out to the opening, it works flawlessly. But you just find the satellite, and it'll just send messages away. So that's a very cool thing. As long as it's free now, who knows? They might start charging, I suppose, right? Let's break with you and go to Kilo November 6, something Bravo or Bravo something, and welcome to the Great Outdoors.
Yeah, this is Kilo November 6 Bravo Hotel Tango, Jeff in Santa Maria, California. This is actually my first contact on DMR. Finally, I think maybe figured this out on my local repeater, and just checking in and wanted to say hi.
Well, hey, Jeff. Yeah, it's one of my favorite places. I used to have to go to work up from Camarillo here up the coast, and spent a lot of time in Santa Maria at a couple of the banks and also the Vallarta supermarket. Are all three? How many are there now? There's 3. Is there, or 2? I think there's only 2. Yeah. So anyway, they had some of our equipment that I used to work on. But yeah, well, you sound good. The DMR bridge is coming through okay, and you can get into Papa 6 up there. I guess you know about that. Depends on where you're at in Santa Maria. I guess further south you go north. Further north you go towards Napomo, and that north end of Santa Maria, you can get into the Papa 6 pretty well. It's just coming back towards the south end there. All right, well, good to hear from you. Don't be a stranger. Come on out every Sunday evening here at 8 p.m. We're talking about something outdoors or anything. You guys always can bring up your own topic, too, and we'll be good with it. Someone else up in the favorite part of my place I used to love to work, KJ6MID, Jonathan. Welcome.
Hey, good evening, Bob, and the rest of the net. Thank you so much, Bob, for doing this outdoor net every week. It's really a lot of fun to listen to and to participate. Tonight, though, I have nothing to add. I have absolutely nothing. I don't have any new gadget. I don't have an old gadget. It's just a Sunday night in my car. For some reason, I just want to drive, and I'm just kind of driving along. Beautiful full moon out, and enjoying the warm weather, and listening to the outdoor net.
So anyway, thanks again. Appreciate it. Have a good evening. Back to you, Bob. KJ6MID.
Well, if I say so myself, it doesn't get any better than that. Just being in the outdoors, driving around, looking at a full moon, and listening to the outdoor net. Well, thanks for jumping in there and saying hi. Yeah, we don't always. I demand people not to have to. You don't have to have any topic or anything. Just come in and say hello. That's what we're here for. Or let us know what you're doing, and you're driving around. So there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I guess it was what, a full blood moon or something. I don't know if it was last night. A friend of mine sent a picture or put a picture on Facebook. And it wasn't red at all, but it was a big, beautiful moon. That's for sure. So I didn't get to see it tonight. All right. Well, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you to everyone that checked in tonight. We're going a little bit over here, but that's okay. I'll trim things and things will work and fit right into the slot it's supposed to. And I want to thank the Papa System, of course, for allowing us to have all these great nets every night of the week. And thank Cecil for his legendary leadership, because it's just, he's a legend in his own time. And of course, all the Papa members that pay their dues and allow us to do this and keep all the mountaintops running, because it does cost a small fortune, especially for this many repeaters. I think we have a new one coming into view too. There's a 220 out there in Redlands. So if you're on the Redlands area, I think you're going to have 1.25 available to you. So we'll get that 220 going here again. That's what we started with, I think, in the Papa System. And thank all the net controllers out there that work hard and volunteer their time, as I do and we all do. Okay, well, have a great rest of the week. We start our week here. I kind of like to think that way. So tomorrow's really not Monday. It's like Monday. It's the day after Sunday. Makes it not seem so bad. And look forward to seeing everybody and hearing everybody, and hopefully seeing a lot of people down at the either at the Mentone Breakfast with Evo and or down at the Sizzler in Culver City. So I'm going to be there with Carolyn and do a little presentation on Papa Ham Camp, and check out the Sizzler Blue Cheese and their wonderful toast. All right, 7-3 all, W6CJX clear, and we're closing the net at 21:42.